So we'll be working at creating a very simple web page today, and I have a plan ready for that. I am going to be working with you, and we'll create a basic web page for Australia's Great Barrier Reef. This is the topic only for today's class, but in future lessons you will of course choose your own topic related to the big idea of the unit, and we'll talk about that later. But for today we will create a web page on Australia's Great Barrier Reef, and the aim of today's class is to get better and better at HTML and CSS. So this is just a plan that I have just to show you what we are going to do. We are going to have two headings on our web page, and then we'll have two pictures below the headings. Then we are going to write a few paragraphs, three paragraphs about, very simple paragraphs about the topic. And then in the end, we are going to have three recommendations as list, some of the links actually, where the viewers can go and read more about the topic. And once we are done with all of this content, text and images, and once we add all of this, we will then start doing some styling using CSS. The video that you saw at the start of the lesson, it will make more sense when you actually do it yourself with me. Okay, so let's quickly jump into our app called TextMate. This is the app for the Mac users. I'm gonna actually remove all of this code and do it with you. Alright, so this is all my TextMate right now, and I'm going to start with the HTML tag, which is the first tag when you start with HTML documents or web documents. The second tag is the header of the web page, and inside the header I'm just gonna have a title. I can just choose anything, right? And when my title is done, I'm going to end it with a slash title, and this is where my head also ends. So I'm going to close my head, and I'm going to close my HTML. Okay, slash means you are closing that tag. Okay, so all I have is this. You can go to file, save as, okay, and then give a name to your file such that it should be one name, and then .html should be the extension for that name. So when I save it, it will save on my desktop. So if I open this web page which is saved on my desktop, just double click, it will open. Well, actually I should show you in another web browser so that I can show you the title, right? So I'm just gonna open this in Google Chrome so that you can see the title. Okay, so when I said the title is the Great Barrier Reef, I was not really talking about the heading on the page. The heading is separate. Okay, this title which you mention in the head tags of the HTML page is basically the title of this window, as you can see here. Okay, right now if I just open this page, it has nothing. It only has a title, and it's a web page. Okay, we will now start adding content into the web page. So after my head and before I close the HTML, this is the time when I have to start adding something on the body of the web page. Okay, so here is the body, and I'll create some space, and I will end the body here. So everything that I add, the paragraphs, the headings, the images, everything is going to be between these body opening and the slash body. So if I look at my plan, it says I need to have two headings. So let me first copy the first heading quickly. Okay, and I can actually say h1, paste that heading, and I can slash h1 to say this is the end of my heading. If I want the second heading to be smaller than the h1 is the big size heading and h2 is smaller. So you have h1 to h6 different varieties of heading sizes. So h2 is going to be smaller. So I can just copy this, paste it here, and end the h2 here. So I've got my two headings. I saved my web page, and I go to my Google Chrome, and I do a quick refresh, and I open the web page, and I'll see two headings out here. Okay, the styling and everything, we will work on it later, right? If I go to my plan, so my headings are done. Okay, let me strike that through, and then I want to have two pictures below the headings. So for the heading, so for the images, I am going to have a tag called img src, which stands for image source, and I need to have these speech quotes out here. And I will also have another tag for another image, because I said two images, so two tags are ready, and all I have to do is just go onto the internet, find the right image, and paste the link. Okay, so I'm going to go here, open the internet, and just say Coral Reef Australia, look for some pictures that I might want to put on my web page. Okay, so I can just choose one of these pictures. Okay, and then all you have to do is just right click and copy the image address, just like I'm copying. So copy the image address, go here and paste it in this one, save it, go back, and maybe the next image that I want to put on my page is this. So I open this, right click, copy image address, and I just copy this safely here. Okay, you may also be thinking that if this image tag is this opening tag, why have I not used /img? It's a valid question, but there are some exceptions in HTML, and there are some tags which do not need a closing. Okay, they are called empty tags, and img is such a tag where you don't need to put /img. It doesn't need it. Okay, so just save it, go to your Google Chrome, go to the website and do a quick refresh, and you should see two pictures which are really too big, and this is not how we want it. But again, this is styling and we will come to the styling later on. Okay, right now let's just put everything that we want to put. So pictures are done, and okay, this is done. Strike through. After that, I want to have 3 paragraphs about coral reef, and these are my paragraphs. So I'm going to go to my code, and I say P stands for paragraph. I copy my first paragraph here and copy it here, and I end it here with /p to say that my first paragraph is ended. The second paragraph, the same process, I say P and go to my second paragraph, just do a quick copy and paste. Yeah, and I can just /p. Okay, and the third one, don't worry about these spacing, then it doesn't have to exactly be the same way as mine, but just be careful about these indentation, like the spacing here. Okay, so the third paragraph is this one, so I'm just gonna do a quick copy paste, and this is my third paragraph, and I end it with a /p. Okay, so my 3 paragraphs are also done. Okay, and all I'm left with now is just a list, which is basically a list of three points, and then when I click on these each of these text, it should take me to a particular web page. Okay, so let's quickly just learn how do we create a list. We've done this in the past, but let's again revise that. So if I want a list with numbers, let's say 1, 2 and 3, I use OL, ordered list. The first list item in my plan is this. It says Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority. So I copy it and I paste it, and that's my end of the list item. Then the second list item that I have is Australian tourism. Just see that right now I'm just working on the text, but the link part of it, I'll work on it later. So that's my second text. My third text is the rough guide to Australia. Okay, and here, and I close my list, and I also will close my OL here because this is the end of my ordered list. So I save it, and I just quickly go to my Chrome and I refresh the page to see that my paragraphs are here and my 3 links are all 3 points are also here. But now I want that when I click on each of these links, it should take me to those websites. Okay, so now let's work on the links. So I want to link this with a website, this text. Okay, so just before the text, I am going to introduce one more tag which is used for linking it, which is called anchor. So you just say a href equals, and here you just, in the speech marks, you can just give the link to which you want it to be linked. So this is the link. I copy it, okay, and I paste it here. Okay, and because I have li and then a tag, so I will end it with the same order. So I will first end the a tag at the end of the text, and then I'll close the li tag. This ordering of opening and closing is really important. So if the inside tag which is open is a, the inside tag which should close first should be a, and then outside tag is li and then /li. And the same thing you have to do for other links. You just say a href here and just copy this link, Australia tourism, copy it, put it between the speech quotes, and just before you close the li, please close the anchor tag as well, and do the same for the third one as well. Okay, and I will also close the A here, and I'll copy the link, which is this one. So copy it and paste it. So just save it. Okay, and you go to Chrome and you refresh, and you'll see that all these are now in blue or purple, because I visited them earlier, that's why they're in purple, but you should see that all of these will be in blue, and when you click on any of it, you will be able to navigate to the website. The links have been provided in HTML, the same websites. Okay, so I can go back, and this is how it appears. The list is numbered, it's 1, 2 and 3, but what if I want it to be in bullet points? Then in that case, all I have to do is just change one letter. So instead of OL, I just have to change it to UL to say it's an unordered list. When I save it and I go back to my Chrome and I do a quick refresh, you will see that 1, 2, 3 change transformed into bullet points. Okay, so all my text is now on the website. I have to work on giving it a formatting and a style, which is really important. So for that, we have a CSS. Okay, and where do we actually have CSS? We actually add this on top between the head tags. So in the head tags, after adding the title, you just go here and make some space. Okay, so before you close the head and after the title, this is where the style will appear. So you put the style and also create some space and close the style. Make sure that this is in the same indentation level. Okay, so I guess I just created a lot of space. I can actually reduce it and create it between the styles and stuff. Okay, so here now what I want, the first thing that I would want is to add some, let's say, no, first of all I should work on the headings. I want them to be underlined and to be placed in the middle of the web page. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that for my heading 1 and for my heading 2, both the headings, they need to be text aligned center, and I can say text decoration is underlined. So I want both my headings to be center aligned and decoration is underlined, and I refresh it and you'll see that that has happened. Okay, second thing that I should of course work with is the images. They are too big and not really fitting in one line. So for that, I'm going to go here in the style and I'm going to say that the images are both going to be width 300 pixel. You can actually change it later if you find it not fitting properly. 200 pixel. Okay, save it and then do a refresh and you'll see that they're now of the same size. Okay, we also want to work on the paragraphs. They are just touching the edge of the page too much, and this is not really good, and also this is too small maybe. So for the paragraphs, what I'm going to do, I will say that I want the font size to be, let's say, 18 pixel. Okay, and because it was touching too much to the left, so I'm going to say that for the paragraphs, the left margin should be around 20 pixel, and even from the right side of my web page, the margin should be 20 pixel. Okay, so this is for my paragraph, and if I do a refresh, you'll see that this is bigger and there is margin of 20 pixels on the left side. Okay, if you want the same styling to also be applied on these list items, what you can do, along with P, just say comma and say UL. Okay, UL was the tag which we used for creating a list, as you can see. Okay, so for the P and for the UL, it will be this font size and they will have a margin. So you can go and refresh and see that that will happen. Okay, since it was a list, it already had some spacing, which is by default, but it also added to 20 pixels. Okay, now you may not really like the font family or the font type. Then actually what you can do is just go to the internet and look for some Google fonts. Okay, some really amazing cool fonts are there on Google Fonts, and all you have to do is just go to the Google Fonts website. Okay, and you'll see a number of nice fonts and how they appear on a web page. So yeah, choose something that matches with the theme or anything that you like. There are thousands of fonts actually that you can use. Okay, so I am going to choose maybe this font. So I'll click on this one. The name of this font is Roboto Mono, and I will just click on get font. and I will click on get embed code. Okay, over here there is some complicated code, but you don't have to change anything. You click on this one, which is at import, because you are importing this font into your web page. So click on this and you see this little code. I will not copy the whole thing because it also has this style and slash style at the end, which is already there in my web page. I've already written it, so I'm only going to copy this part. Okay, I copy it and I just go and paste it here. So after the style on the top, I'm just going to paste this import code which I copied. Okay, and then to apply it, all I have to do is just one little thing. I'm going to say for the body, which means the whole body of the web page, the font family should be Roboto Mono, which I imported from Google Fonts. So when I add this and I save it, and I go here and refresh it, the font should change, as you can see. Okay, so choose any font that you like. The last two things that I want to work now for my web page is to bring these two images in the center and also to add a background color to my web page. Okay, so let's first look at the images, and here are my images. I want to move them in the center. So there is a very quick technique to do that, and I'll tell you how. So just before this images, you introduce a new tag which you call div. Div stands for a division, or it can be a section in a web page. Give it a name. Just say div id is images. So by that you're saying that I'm creating a section in my web page which will hold my images. So these images are going to be inside your div, and this is where you end your div to say that this is one section. It starts from here, it ends here, and inside my section I have two images. Okay, so if I save it and I go back to my web page and do a refresh, I'll see that nothing has happened, no changes. Okay, but what I want to do, I want to move this section of images into the center. Okay, so I will go to the style part of my page. Okay, and I will say that this section, which is called images because that was the ID, I am going to apply a text align and make it in center. Okay, so if I add this slash hash images is basically the name of that section, the ID of that section. Okay, so if I do that and I do a refresh, you'll see that the images are aligned now. All right, you can also add a really nice animation effect on the images if you want. Okay, for that you have to do something like that. So just before the images, here between this part, you add this tag called marquee, and just after the second image you say slash marquee. Okay, so if you do that and save it and you refresh it, you will see that the images are now scrolling. So marquee is a very simple animation effect that some website developers use. It's a very old one. If you want to use it, you can. It's your wish. Okay, so the last thing that is left is now adding some background color to your page. Okay, so for that I'm gonna go to the style. Okay, and in the body part of the style, I'm going to say that the background color, let's say it's gonna be light blue. It's not taking it. I think what I would suggest, rather than writing the name of the color, the better thing that you should do is just go on to online Google and just look for HTML hex colors. Okay, if you search for this HTML hex colors, it will give you this website, and you can go on to this. It gives you a large variety of colors that you can use as background. So whichever color you want as the background, you just click on that, and if you like that color, you just copy that code, the hex code, just copy it and paste that in the background color. Okay, when you save this, save it, and you go back to your web page and do a quick refresh, that color would apply to your web page. Okay, some people don't really like one kind of a color, they like a gradient of colors. For that you can even do something like this. You can just say background, not the color, just the background, and there is a nice property called linear gradient. Okay, and inside this linear gradient you can specify a few colors. So one is this color, maybe I want from this I may want it to be a shade darker. Then I'm gonna copy this and I'll apply it here, and then after a comma I can apply maybe another, I don't know, another color or something. You'll have to just check this yourself, okay, like what you would like. So just copy it, and yeah, so maybe 3 colors, linear gradient, save it, and then when you go back to your page and you do a quick refresh, it would be like a gradient, so from light to dark to another color. Okay, and this is from top to bottom, like the colors are melting from top to bottom. If you want them to be melting or gelling into each other from left to right, you can even add something like, just say to right. Okay, so to right, start from this color, then go on to this color and go on to this color, so like they will all if I do a refresh, you'll see that the colors are now from light and then dark and then that yellow color. So you can even add gradients if you want. Okay, so that's your basic web page, and this is what we must do in today's class. This is all styling. Make sure that your tags are open and closed at the right position. Otherwise, even one tag which is not closed properly, let's say if I do not close this style here and I save my web page and I do a refresh, you'll see all the content is gone. Okay, so that's why the opening and closing of tags matters a lot. It has to be at the right position, so when I put it back and I go back and do a refresh, everything is back to normal. All right, so try this, and I'm there to help you out in the class. And if you have any specific queries, such as I want more images, I want the colors of these headings to be different, I want the font of these headings to be different than what is in the paragraphs, all those kinds of questions that you have, I would be very happy to help you individually. Okay, so that's about it.